Hello and welcome to the Thursday Drivers' Press Conference ahead of the Belgian Grand Prix. Fernando, we're going to start with you. You said you won't race in Formula 1 in 2019. Can you just tell us how you came to that decision?
This year, a couple of months ago, I decided that it was the right time because I feel strong, I feel driving a good level, and I want to say bye-bye to this sport when I feel strong, not when I feel not competitive or I don't have any place to go or whatever, and then you say bye-bye. I prefer to take my own decision and find new challenges that maybe what Formula 1 cannot offer me at the moment.
Well, thank you, Daniel. You yourself will also have a new challenge next year, switching Red Bull for Renault. Just tell us how you came to make that decision to move teams next year.
I felt I was ready for a change. That was, I guess, the long and short of it. Ready for, I guess, a new challenge. And I think just for me personally, just some fresh motivation. So, it was, that sounds easy saying it like that. It wasn't easy. Few sleepless nights for sure, trying to come up with the best conclusion for myself. But once I made that decision and let's say pulled the trigger, I felt comfortable with it, and it feels right, moving forward for next year.
Thank you, Carlos. Moving on to you next. You're going to replace Fernando at McLaren, but there was a Red Bull seat available at one stage. So can you talk us through the timeline for what happened with your future?
I was very calm about the situation. I had just to wait to see what happened in Red Bull and then take my own decision. In the end, it turned out to be good. I'm about to leave the Red Bull family in a very good way. I think I owe pretty much of my Formula 1 career to them. Thanks to them, at the moment I am going to McLaren because they put me into Formula 1 and I've been able to do a career thanks to them. And nothing, I'm opening a new chapter next year, my first 2-year deal with the team, and I just cannot wait.
Thank you. And Pierre, moving on to you. You probably had the least stressful break in terms of not having a decision to make, but you will be promoted to Red Bull next year.
Yeah, I'm just super excited about it. It's a massive step in my career, and I need to stay focused on the coming races because we are talking about next year, but there are still 9 races to go with Toro Rosso, but for sure it's going to be a massive jump for me in my career.
Thank you. I imagine there are a lot of questions from the people around me, so we'll now open it up to questions from the floor.
Fernando, would you at some point in the future consider returning to Formula 1, or is this definitively goodbye?
Right now I'm thinking that it's a goodbye, but life changed very quickly, and life also teach me in the past how things may change, in a couple of months' time or in years' time. So, as I said also in the press release, when we announced the retirement, is to leave the door open because, I don't have the crystal ball to know what is going to happen in the future. And, as I said, for me it's a bye-bye, but who knows in the future.
Daniel, what was happening in Red Bull that made you feel so unloved?
I think, to be clear, I'm probably going to get asked lots of questions about it, but there was no falling out, no bad blood or anything with anyone in the team, with the bosses or anyone at all. So it's I know the contract stuff. I think people assumed I was pretty much done with Red Bull and ready to sign, but I think. I'm pretty sure I always just said I was close to doing something, but I'd never really said it was going to be 100% with Red Bull. So there wasn't anything that changed overnight which caused, this decision.
Carlos, are you disappointed that the team chose Pierre instead of you for Red Bull?
Yeah, I think it is impossible to be disappointed when you're leaving a team to go to McLaren. I think it's one of the dreams that I had as a kid, and to be joining McLaren in the future, I think it's impossible to be unhappy. Yes, I've been part of the Red Bull family for a very long time, and I've always said that Red Bull was one of my main objectives, but as a racing driver, and the McLaren family pushes you a lot to that, and it is impossible to be disappointed with that.
Yeah, and Pierre, going up against Max next year?
I think as a team, we have the potential to do great things together. And yeah, I worked with the team since a couple of years now, so I think for sure I will have things to learn in the first few races and first few months, because I'm still quite new in Formula One. But of course, my long-term target is to be the best in the sport, and if I want to be the best, I will have to fight against the best. So I think Max is one of the best drivers on the grid at the moment, so I take it as an amazing opportunity to drive next to him.
Daniel, Max calls you a lot of times the best teammate he ever had. Are you going to miss him next year, and do you have any advice for your neighbor how to treat the Dutch boy?
Well, if he starts calling Pierre the best teammate he's ever had, then my heart will be broken. And with Pierre, I think firstly, I guess he owes Helmut a drink, but he also owes me a drink.
Even two, if you
Even two, all right. But look, it's a similar position to where I was in 2014. You know, coming from Toro Rosso into the big team, and it's exciting. It's fun. I think he's going to be fun.
Max, we're going to start with you. We've just had Daniel in here fielding a number of questions. Can we get your opinion? Were you surprised that Daniel has opted to leave Red Bull and you'll have Pierre as your teammate next season?
Well, I think everyone was surprised, but at the end of the day, you know, he has to feel good about the decision. I think that's the most important.
And what are your thoughts on having Pierre as a teammate in 2019?
Yeah, he's a great guy. I know him already since we were go-karting together. Even beginning of this year, he was 1 week in Monaco. He stayed in my apartment, so we're playing FIFA in the evenings. So you know, we have a good relationship, and I'm sure he's very quick as well. So I think it's good for the team.
Stoffel, your future is still unclear with McLaren, but you know that Carlos Sainz will be in one of those seats. So are you hopeful of being his teammate in 2019?
Yeah, I'm confident. Although at the moment there's nothing guaranteed for next year. I'm feeling positive. Obviously, after summer break to come to Spa and have your home race with all the friends, family, and fans that are here is always an extra that gives you an extra boost. So I think the main focus is on this weekend to really give the best performance we can, and then we see what the future brings.
Lance, moving on to you. Just how has the summer break impacted on your future?
Well, for the moment, nothing's changed on my side. I'm still wearing a Williams polo. I got a race this weekend, and I'm going to be 100% focused and committed on my job. On the other side, things have happened. I'm really pleased for my father. He saw a great financial opportunity with Force India. They've been struggling for a long time, and he sees a lot of potential in the company, and he's a businessman. He's passionate about cars, Formula One, always has been. He saved 400 jobs, and he believes that he can build a very competitive and healthy company for the future. So I'm happy for him.
And Marcus, moving on to you. The very, very volatile driver market over the summer. What does that mean for a driver like yourself?
For me, I need to prove that I should be in F1 for next year. That's what we're all trying to do. And it's no secret I want to stay in Sauber. I think that's been part of that team for a long time now, and we made some great progress this year. So I would like to continue that over next season as well. But I know the coming races will be very important for me, so I need to really focus and deliver on track.
Lance, are you sure you will be finishing the year with Williams?
Well, nothing's guaranteed, but right now I'm really just focused on this weekend, and I'm going to give it my all, like I always do, and we'll see what the future holds. Right now I'm really just taking it weekend by weekend, and we'll see what happens.